72% of Americans feel guilty when they spend money on something that makes them happy. Only 15% say joy is actually easy to afford right now. It's less than ideal. The research on what getting away does to your brain is more specific and convincing than you'd expect. And a new Gallup poll finds 37% of Americans believe UFOs are alien spacecraft, up from a third 2 years ago, which raises a question about what exactly is happening to the standard of evidence. While everyone else is busy arguing about politics, a bunch of other things happened. I'm Keith Conrad, and this is News Side Quest.
This grim scene of unimaginable carnage is brought to you by Fishy Joe's. Try our new Extreme Walrus Juice. 100% fresh squeezed walrus. Ride the walrus.
Ally Bank released a new report this week called The Cost of Life Today. And the number at the center of it is one that I think a lot of people are going to recognize. The average American adult scored 54 out of 100 on something they're calling a joy index. It's a measure of how easy it is to afford happiness, how often people actually experience it, and how resilient that feeling is under financial pressure. 54 out of 100. It's not a great score. That puts the average American in what the researchers called joy-pressured territory, wanting joy, reaching for it, and then feeling bad about it. 72% of people surveyed said they feel guilty when they spend on things that make them happy instead of putting that money towards financial goals. Only 15% said joy is easy to afford right now. Not that they can't afford it, that it feels easy to afford. The rest are doing the math every single time. What I find interesting about this data is what it says about the specific emotional experience of being financially stretched in 2026. It's not just that things are expensive, it's that the squeeze has gotten inside people's heads to the point where even small, affordable pleasures come with the guilt chaser. The cup of coffee you didn't really need, that movie ticket, the thing you bought specifically because you were having a bad week and just needed something. There's nothing wrong with spending something because you need to get through the day. The research on financial stress and psychological well-being is pretty consistent. Complete deprivation of small pleasures is not a sustainable or healthy response to financial difficulty. The strategic preservation of what matters most, even at a modest cost, protects mental health in ways that grinding austerity just doesn't. The guilt in those cases is doing more harm than the spending. What's the last thing you bought purely because you needed to feel a little better? And did the guilt show up? And if it did, was the thing still worth it?
We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
The Wall Street Journal ran a piece this week on the mental health benefits of getting away. Nobody's going to fight you on this one. The research is clear and consistent and doesn't require a lot of nuance to summarize it. Getting away reduces cortisol, the body's stress hormone. It improves sleep. It creates the condition for the kind of unstructured time that the brain needs to consolidate memories and restore cognitive function. Even the anticipation of a trip has measurable effects on mood. In fact, some research suggests the planning phase produces more happiness than the trip itself or the memories afterwards. And women who take at least 2 vacations a year have significantly lower rates of depression than those who rarely travel. You don't have to go far, you just have to go somewhere. The caveat the researchers consistently add is the benefits tend to fade within about a week or two of returning. The post-trip glow is real, but very temporary, which means the people who get the most out of travel are the ones who go regularly enough that they're always either planning something, experiencing something, or still feeling those effects after the thing. The research on burnout is pretty consistent. People who take regular breaks return to work more focused, more creative, and more productive than people who don't. Taking a vacation isn't slacking off, it's just maintenance. Where would you go to get away from it all right now if you could go anywhere?
Sorry, folks, park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
Gallup just released a new poll conducted this July. It was 1,200 adults nationally. And the number that's generating the most attention is this. 37% of Americans believe some UFO sightings have been alien spacecraft visiting Earth from other planets or galaxies. That's up from 33% 2 years ago. 49% think all sightings have an earthly explanation. 13% aren't sure. 70% of Americans believe the government is withholding information about UFOs. That's the highest that figure has ever been in decades of Gallup tracking, up from 68% in 2019 and 71% in 1996. I wonder what happened during the Bush years that made people actually believe that less. Anyway, 3/4 of the country believe the government is hiding something. That's a remarkable level of institutional distrust applied to a single topic. The 37% figure is just absolutely mind-boggling to me because it's jumping past the responsible version of the question. Are there unexplained aerial phenomenon worth investigating? And directly lands on, well, they must be aliens. Unidentified means we don't know what it is. It does not mean we've ruled out all earthly explanations. It doesn't mean we've confirmed an extraterrestrial origin. It means we haven't explained it yet. Going from this is unexplained to this is clearly the aliens requires a lot of additional evidence that we just don't have. And the fact that the Pentagon has been releasing files and holding hearings makes the conversation feel more advanced than the actual evidence would warrant. The government secrecy angle is the part I find interesting because that distrust is earned regardless of what you believe about aliens. There's a documented history of the government classifying aerial phenomenon, and that turned out to be classified military technology, surveillance programs, or atmospheric testing. The question of whether the government is hiding something and the question of whether that something is alien spacecraft are completely separate ideas, and treating them as the same one is where I think a lot of the 30% are living. What would it actually take to convince you that Earth had been visited by extraterrestrial intelligence? Remember, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
But somewhere out there, something is watching us. There are alien forces acting in ways we can't perceive. Are we alone in the universe? Impossible. When you consider the wonders that exist all around us, voodoo priests of Haiti, the Tibetan numerologists of Appalachia, the unsolved mysteries of unsolved mysteries. The truth is out there.
Toilet paper prices in the US are surging as a result of the ongoing trade dispute with Canada, which supplies a significant portion of American pulp and paper products. With everything else going on, we really could skip the great toilet paper crisis of 2026.
That's a thought.
Lab-grown human brain tissue survived for 5 years in a laboratory and kept an internal record of every month it aged, marking a significant milestone in organoid research, which is apparently a thing. The tissue is not conscious. Researchers are emphatic about that. Still, this feels like a Twilight Zone episode waiting to happen.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
A man who spent months terrorizing people in Philadelphia while wearing a Halloween mask was arrested in Las Vegas. I've decided I want to walk around in my horse mask and just live my normal daily life in it, purely to observe the reactions. I want to be clear, this is very different from what happened in Philadelphia, which was genuinely frightening.
Son, I think I can safely say...
Before I go, Tim Curry died on Wednesday at age 80. He'd been dealing with health issues for several years. If you grew up with Rocky Horror Picture Show or Clue or even The Hunt for Red October, or any of the dozen other things he did that permanently lodged themselves in your memory, you know what we lost. Pennywise, Wadsworth, Dr. Frankenfurter. I'm not sure if the Russian guy had a name in Hunt for Red October, but he should have. He committed to every single one of them completely. It hasn't been a great week for this kind of news. Rest well, Tim. That's it for News Side Quest. 3 questions out there to ponder. The last thing you bought just to feel better and whether it was worth the guilt. the place you actually want to go if you could go anywhere right now, and what it would actually take to convince you Earth had been visited by aliens. Email me at newssidequest@gmail.com or pay a visit to the Substack comments. See you tomorrow.